subscribe. Let me say it one more time so you can get it and I can take my time and say it right. On Facebook, push like, comment, and share. On YouTube, push like, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, I want to let you know that we have one of the favorite superintendents here in Temple District. Matter of fact, the whole area in this area. And I want to introduce you all to Dr. Bobby Ott.
Thank you, Pastor. I appreciate all of you for giving me the opportunity to come speak to you today about the bond, knowing that next week is early voting. This is a really good opportunity to share this information with you. So we'll go ahead and begin. The first thing I want to do is just kind of remind everybody about the school district, go over some of our statistics. So I'll start with the fact that right now we serve about 8,500 students, a little bit over. And that's an important number to remember because I'm going to address a question I always get a little bit later. And so it's important to know that we have about 8,500 students in the district. Of course, we serve grades pre-K through 12. We have 4 programs that our students do very well in and we're very proud of. One is our Advanced Academics program, which is our International Baccalaureate. We're the only school district anywhere around here with an IB program. And we have it at 3 of our campuses, Scott, Travis, and Temple High School. Next is our Fine Arts program. We do very well, whether it's theater, music, band, visual arts, athletics. We have great boys and girls athletic programs, and then career tech. And because of a 2015 bond, and because our taxpayers got behind it, we have a state-of-the-art career tech center, and we have several hundreds of students that graduate with industry-level certifications, and they actually come to work right here locally in our places of business. As a school district, every one of our campuses have met the state standard. We are a B-rated school district, and guess what? So is Belton, so is Salado, so is Killeen. We are no different. But where our difference lies is all of our students do well just like they do, but we are very diverse as a school district, and I will show you that. 45% of our students are Hispanic in Temple ISD. 25% are African American, 25% are white. We also have 75% economically disadvantaged. We have students in our school district that have more needs than surrounding school districts, but guess what? They still perform the same. They do an incredible job. We also have one-to-one technology at middle school and high school. We put out over 200 National Merit Scholars, and that number keeps climbing. So as a school district, this is our basic demographic breakdown. Now, one thing that people always think about when they think about schools is teaching and learning, as they should, because that's what we're about, right? That's our core. That's our primary job is to educate students. But we're also a large service organization. And many people in the community, they've had the opportunity to participate in some of these services. So I'm going to talk about a few of them. You may not know, but as a school district, we have over 1,300 employees. That's a lot of people that are part of Temple ISD that come to work every day to serve our children. And there's all types of professions, right? Nurses, bus drivers, security officers, teachers, librarians, I can go on and on and on, administrators. We occupy 1.6 million square feet in facility space. That's a lot to keep up with. We also have over 320 acres of land that we occupy, and they all have facilities on them, except one we just purchased not too long ago for a future elementary and middle school. These are 2 services that our community is probably more familiar with, and that is meals served. Right? We serve over 1.4 million meals a year. That's breakfast and lunch to all of our students. Our community knows something about that because during COVID in 2020, when it first really hit the community, we had a lot of people, a lot of families that fell in hard times, and they lost jobs. Well, you know what? Our school nutrition department, they still served meals when schools were closed 7 days a week and took care of families in this community. That was the right thing to do. We were all pulling together to try to help one another. No different with transportation. We drive almost 600,000 miles a year. You may remember during the ice storm, the city of Temple called the school district, said, hey, we do not have transportation for handicapped. We're trying to get elderly people to warm shelters. Can we use your buses? I said, they are not my buses. They're the community's buses. They paid for them. You absolutely can use our buses. Contacted transportation and asked, are any of you willing to volunteer and drive? I know the roads are dangerous. We had plenty of bus drivers line up. We transported people all over the community during those times. So we like to look at ourselves as something bigger than an educational institution. We are a service to the community as well, and I think that's very important. Two questions that come up over and over and over when someone goes out for a bond. How do you manage your money, and how is the governance in the school district? They want to know money and kids are taken care of. Well, here are some awards in the last couple years. In fact, the finance awards were here even just recently. Our school board in 2020 was named state finalist for Board of the Year. There are 1,300 school districts in Texas. They were top 5 school boards. Our school board is 7 single-member districts. They represent every neighborhood in our community. All of them have their own district, and it's drawn up as such to make sure every single neighborhood has a representative. We do not have any at-large board seats whatsoever. On top of that, they also won the regional award, obviously, and then, of course, we're top 5 in state. Our finance department, we have won state, national, and international finance awards for the last 3 years. We just received the award this year, last board meeting, right? And this is for 2 reasons. One, we're fiscally responsible in terms of efficiency, and 2, we're very, very transparent. I have a few slides later on I'm going to show you that will demonstrate that as compared to surrounding districts. This is probably the biggest indicator. As a school district, since 2018, we have lowered the tax rate by 16 cents. A lot of times when the values in a community grow, more businesses come in and homes come in, a lot of school districts have the opportunity to keep the tax rate flat and generate more money. In TISD, our philosophy is to give it back, and that's what we've done since 2018 by dropping the tax rate by 16 cents. On the average home, we've been able to put almost $600 back into a homeowner with the average home cost in Temple every year in the last 3 years. This is a pretty busy slide, so I'm going to pick out a few high points, right? What you should get out of this slide. First of all, remember what I told you about our tax rate dropping by 16 cents. Well, as you can see, 2018 it was $1.40 and it went down to $1.24. There's your 16 cents. But what I want to share with you is this. This whole bond proposal is part of a long-range plan. This was not just drawn up overnight on the back of an envelope. This was something that started in 2011 when people in the community said we need to do something to transform our schools. So in 2011, there was a facilities master plan done, and those last about 10 years. And that plan showed all the facilities and what their needs were, whether roofs need to be replaced, what have you. And so, as a school district in 2011, we passed a $55 million bond, okay, to start chipping away at that huge comprehensive facilities plan. It's like $200 million, right? A couple years later, we passed a tax ratification election to outfit with technology and so forth, and then boom, we turned right back around 2015 and went out for a bond for $136.5 million, and it passed. What I want you to see here is that in 5 years, Temple ISD went to the community 3 times. You know how many times we've gone to the community since 2015? None. The last 7 years, we have not had an ASCII. We went in November, and that was unsuccessful, and I'll explain that a little later. But that is a long time, right? That gives us a chance to pay down debt and so forth. So we started hearing about growth. The city of Temple has been growing for many years. What you may not know is that the city of Temple has 4 school districts in it. It has Troy in the northeast, or northwest rather. It has Academy in the south. It has Belton in the south and the west, and Temple ISD right in the center. 4 school districts. The growth for a long time was situated out west, which affected another school district. It did not affect us. But in 2018, we started seeing growth in Temple ISD, not just City Temple, but in our district. And so we conducted a demographic study, and we've done that ever since. Because of that, we had to update our facilities master plan to add this new element of growth, something we haven't had before and very exciting in this school district. So these are the data points that we have gathered in the last 3 years, 4 years now, right, since 2022 and 2018, 4 years, to help inform us that, hey, we have to go out and start adding to the school system, and I'll explain that in a second. So one of the highlights from the demographic study, or a few of the highlights, is number one, TISD, not City of Temple, TISD will have 400 additional homes per year for the next 5 years, okay? And that's not multifamily units and apartment complexes. That's single-family homes right here in TISD. Almost 7,000 planned subdivisions or home lots in 11 future subdivisions. That is so many people that are coming. So many, and a lot of those you probably see when you drive up and down the roads. The dirt's already cleared out, the houses are framed, and in some cases already sold. TISD student enrollment will be over 9,700 students by 2025, right? Remember, we're at 8,500 now. 1,200 more students, okay? Very important, right? That's only in a couple of years. With the largest growth being in the southeast quadrant, right, which is where we purchased the land, right between Meredith Dunbar and Ray Allen, and in the out years, the northwest quadrant by Kennedy Powell. Our facilities master plan said, because of our growth, we're going to need to add 12 total classrooms to absorb some of this growth. 4 classrooms at Scott, 4 classrooms at Bonham, because that's our only middle school in the south, makes sense, and 4 at Temple High School. And I'll get into more details with that. We also need to add 3 security vestibules. What is a secured entrance? That's where you have 2 sets of doors. You have the exterior doors you walk in, and then you have another set of doors you have to be buzzed into by the receptionist before you can go into that campus. That is a secured entrance. We chipped away at that since 2011. We've gotten all campuses completed but 3, Hector P. Garcia, Ray Allen, and Kennedy Powell. At those campuses, there's 1 set of doors, and once you're in, you have unfettered access, right? That's not secure. That is not a secured entrance. Playgrounds at our elementary schools, those need to be upgraded. Remove 20 remaining portables. In 2011, when we started this process, we had 47 portables in Temple ISD. We have been able, through the 2011 and 2015 bond, to get rid of 27, which leaves us 20 left. This bond would get rid of all of them. And what does that mean to get rid of a portable? That means that you add a wing to the building. All of our kids are under one secure roof, one line of sight. It's all safe, right? You're out in a portable. Students have to go to the restroom. You have 1 teacher. What does that look like? You're going to leave 22 kids in a portable while you take a kid to the restroom? What does that look like? How does that happen, right? It's not a safe situation. Those aren't ideal classrooms, and they certainly aren't efficient. Auxiliary services renovations. We have a facility right here on the east side between Avenue E and Avenue F, right on 5th Street. That houses our maintenance, our grounds, our school nutrition staff, all the folks that take care of our facilities, all the folks that drive our buses. Those facilities there were built in the 50s, and today they do not have HVAC. It is common in a school district that those facilities are the last ones to be cared for because they don't have kids in them. But this is way overdue, and they are very important people in our school system, and they've served our community as well. And it is time that we renovate their facility. Program spaces, and I'll talk more about that, in particular with fine arts and CTE, the ag department. I'll talk about that when we get into later slides. So, in November of 2021, we went out for a bond, November 2nd, and it was unsuccessful by 2 votes. Every vote counts. 2 votes. So, as a school district, you have 2 decisions when that happens. Because, see, when you say no to something, you're also saying yes to something else. If you say no to a new elementary school, you're saying yes to overcrowded classrooms. If you say no to a new elementary school, you're saying yes to adding portables back, or pulling kids out of their neighborhoods and rezoning them across town to try to fill classrooms. If you say no to a bond, you're saying yes to unsecured entrances for 3 of our elementary schools. See, it's not that easy just to say no. So as a school district, you can either live with that decision, or since the voting margin was so thin, you can re-engage the community. And that's what we did. So, after an election, you can go get the voter rolls, and you can see who voted. You do not know how they voted, nor should I ever know. So we went down. We have 14 precincts in Temple ISD. We went down and randomly picked people from each precinct. I had 3 meetings with a room full of people that voted no and voted yes. And I said, hey, we just have 2 questions. 1, why do you think it didn't pass? 2, what could help it pass? will stay here all night. My administrators will divide up, go to rooms, you self-divide, we'll just take notes. We just need your input. And that's what we did. And I basically explained this slide too, so I'll skip this. And here's what we got out of it. We got a lot of stuff on campaigning. As a school district, I am not allowed to campaign. I cannot do that. That's an ethics violation. I can give facts. So all the campaign stuff we couldn't control. But we did get good information that we could control. The first is multiple propositions confused us. Because we didn't want to vote for the stadium, but we wanted to vote for everything else. But we were afraid if we voted for everything else, it would end up including the stadium. That's new. School districts putting multiple propositions is new, and that's because election laws changed in 2015. If you do anything to a stadium venue that holds over 1,000 students or spectators, then you have to put it in a separate proposition. So we did that because that was the law. That's why we did it. The second thing is they did not want to see Wildcat Stadium on the proposition or the ballot. They did not want to see that. Now, they do want to see kids taken care of, so if track is, past its life or turf, find a way to take care of that school district, but don't put restroom renovations from the stadium and seating and that, don't put that on there. They said that a lot of people voted against because of that. Okay? So that was a good piece of feedback. Another piece is they wanted to see the dollar amount drop. In November, the dollar amount for the bond total with both propositions was $184.9 million. They wanted to see that go down, and the tax impact in November was 12.5 cents. They wanted to see that go down. Okay? So remember these things because you'll see we did every one of them in this new proposition. We did all of them, every one of them. They also wanted to see projects per campus, so parents, when they came up to the school, Western Hills, where my child goes, this is what they're getting. And you'll see that at our schools now. They wanted to know more about the elementary school. Hey, you're telling us that we're going to have a new elementary school, but what programs are going to be in it? What's it going to look like? I'm going to answer all those pieces in this presentation, and you're going to see the changes that we made as a school district, reflective of what the community told us or what their input was. These are the 4 areas that the bond addresses: growth and capacity, safety, security, aging facilities, and student programs. When I go through the next several slides, they're going to be divided this way. At the very end, I'll talk about tax impact and money. So we're going to start with growth and capacity. So the very first thing is we have to have an elementary school in the Southeast Quadrant. We have to, right? Thornton's full. Ray Allen's full and has portables. And it's backed up to a floodplain, so we can't put more portables there. We have no room for students in the Southeast. That's a good problem. We're growing. Right between Meredith Dunbar and Ray Allen, you draw a diagonal line northwest. We purchased land in 2019. We didn't put it in a bond. We purchased it 3.5 years ago, 47.5 acres for an elementary school and a middle school. We can put them both on the same plot of land, so families would have a neighborhood school for 9 years, K through 8. One location, right? One location. Now, this bond only includes the elementary school. We don't need the middle school now. That land is purchased for a future bond for the out years. So the elementary campus will also be a fine arts academy. Fine arts is absolutely valued in the community of Temple. What does that mean to have a fine arts academy? Well, first of all, every student that is in that neighborhood, that neighborhood zone, they're all going to be in that campus. But we're also going to have an opportunity for students to transfer over that want to participate in theater or orchestra, because theater and orchestra are not in elementary schools. It's usually visual arts. It's usually just music, right? So those 2 programs will be added, okay? I mentioned to you 12 classrooms. Here they are, 4 at Scott, and then when you add 4 classrooms at Scott, you also have to consider expanding the cafeteria and look at spaces like that, because when you add 100 more kids, if you don't expand those spaces, you're going to have to serve lunch at 9 a.m. to get everybody through. So you have to do that. It's just part of building management. You have to look at parking lots. You have to look at libraries. I call them unstructured spaces. You have to look at lunchrooms. How many restrooms you have. You have to look at all those things, okay? Bonham, 4 classrooms there. Temple High School, 4 classrooms there. And what we would do at Temple High School is add 4 science labs to the new science wing and take the science classes that we have remaining in the inside of the building because they're too small, and then convert those to like history and English classes, because those rooms in the older part of the building are still meet the size requirements for those classes, but they just don't for science right now. People said, hey, we want to see a picture. Like, we want to see renderings of what the elementary school would look like. Well, this is an example. We went to Sheldon Lakes in Spring ISD, and it's the only fine arts academy we could find, and it's beautiful. And we modeled the school renderings after them. Okay, so this is an example of the front entrance. I will tell you, we won't see a school anywhere like this. I mean, anything like this anywhere around. And it'll be right here between Meredith and Ray Allen. This is the side courtyard. When you have a fine arts theater program in an elementary school, you'll have outdoor performing spaces, so we'll have some of those. This is the entrance area here. Sample of the library here. Next is safety and security. I told you we had 20 portables left. There they are. 6 at Hector P. Garcia, 2 at Kennedy Powell, 2 at Ray Allen, 7 at Gator, and 3 at Western Hills. The cost of getting rid of all those portables and replacing them with permanent structure is $10.2 million. Security vestibules, the 3 campuses I named earlier. We get that taken care of. Every student in Temple ISD they go into a school that has secured entrances. We are taking care of there. Okay? Complete our fire suppression systems. As you add classes and wings to campuses, you also have to upgrade the fire suppression system. Those of you that are familiar with the surrounding community, Waco, you remember Carver burned down not too long ago? Hardly failed fire suppression system. Okay? We don't want that to happen. It's much cheaper to put in upgraded fire suppression systems than it is to build a new school. Backup technology site. We have one point of failure in the district right now for telecommunications and internet and everything else. If that goes down, we have a lot of services that pull, right, from technology. As an organization, when you grow, you have to have a redundancy site or a backup site. And we'll actually put ours at bottom because we're growing out that way. We'll put it at bottom. And then sidewalk, pavement, and lighting improvements at Meredith Dunbar, Temple High, and Edwards. Aging facilities next. I talked to you all about the facility located on 5th Street between Avenue E and F. We call it the Auxiliary Services Center. Remember, it has our school nutrition, grounds, warehouse, maintenance. That facility would be completely renovated. Transportation Service Center, as you grow as a school district, so do your bus riders, right? We're not putting buses in here, but we do need to expand the bus barn. We do need to put secured fencing around it. Right? We do have some portables out there. We need to look at the mechanic bays, so forth. Restroom upgrades, we've done a good job as a school district on replacing a lot of classrooms or upgrading classrooms and hallways. Restrooms we have not. This was voted #1 by the community. Over everything else, restroom upgrades, #1. Wheatley, out of all of every one of our campuses have been touched, including Wheatley. Wheatley has a new elevator and new windows. But Wheatley has been touched the least. And that is our discipline alternative campus. When students get in trouble, they go to Wheatley, but then they, quickly go back to the campus that they were from. And what I always say is just because students get in trouble doesn't mean you stop loving them. They need to have comparable classrooms, just like the campus they came from. So we need to take care of Wheatley. Digital marquees, we have those all across every campus in the school district except for 2, Temple High School and Edwards. So those are the 2 remaining ones. Replacement, improvement of elementary playgrounds, we have 7 of them listed there. We have some playgrounds that do not have updated or they do not meet ADA requirements because we moved certain special programs around in the district. Right? So we need to upgrade all of those. I will tell you, if this bond passes, my plan is to meet with some of our parents of special needs students and hear from them on what our playgrounds need. Campus infrastructure. In order for a building to last 50, 60, 70 years like ours do, you have to do things like replace roofs. You have to take care of asbestos, emergency access, site concrete. Well, these are all things, ADA upgrades as those standards change, PA system upgrades. These are things you have to do, right, to keep things going, right? This would be or this is a rendering, this would be what our new Auxiliary Services Center looks like. It certainly is not what it looks like now. But this is Avenue E, this is Avenue F, this is 3rd, and that's 5th Street where the van's going in. The beautiful thing here is the city will partner with us. They've already said that, the reinvestment zone, and they would take care of sidewalk, lighting, make it safe and secure. That's a nice anchor point for that part of town. We're committed to this location, right? And you go down the 3rd Street Bridge and we're right over to the right. Okay? And this would be a nice anchor point that would help tie in downtown revitalization and go into T-Med right behind Travis. And I'll show you something in a second that would help with the T-Med district. Student programs, Ag Barn. We built this beautiful career tech center because of the last bond. $30 million plus. Took care of every program but one, Ag. Because Ag's not in the building. It has animals in it, right? It's out behind the soccer field. That building hadn't been touched since 2007. I was over at the Bell County Youth Fair this year. I had students telling me they could only enter 2 goats because there's not enough animal storage space or pens, rather, at the Ag Barn. So we need to expand. If you don't expand your facilities and your programs, then you know what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to tell kids no. You're going to have to cap them. That's what you're going to have to do, right? So we need to take care of that remaining CTE program. Meredith Dunbar, the whole entire, those of you that went to the rededication, what a beautiful ceremony. We put $10 million into Meredith Dunbar. Completely brand new on the inside. Beautiful, it's gorgeous. Took care of everything but one thing, the auditorium. The auditorium still has the seats from 1960s. And they're not handicap accessible. And neither is the stage. We need to take care of that auditorium. Because guess what? Your middle school choirs can use it. It's beautiful. It's big. It can be a venue for all kinds of events, not just pre-K graduation. Okay? We had a beautiful rededication there. It's gorgeous. Great speakers. Joe Green came. He's got a mural in there. School he went to. It was a great, great opportunity. And it was a great investment for this part of the community. It was the right thing. Temple High School Fine Arts Auditorium. Another auditorium improvement. That hadn't been touched since 2007. Sound and lighting are basically obsolete. We need to upgrade those. Athletics. Our locker rooms and our training room. When I say training room, I don't mean like training. I mean taping your ankle trainers, right? I mean injury prevention. That room it's way outdated for 6A. Way outdated. Way too small. Way too small. Every girls and boys sport, I mean, it's not even the size of a closet. It's unbelievable to me when I go in there. Long line of kids wait to get served. We have the people, we don't have the space. Classrooms will be in the facility as well. Athletics, we have a few tweaks left in terms of lighting. Lighting is a great example. Update the softball and baseball lighting to LED because that lasts, right, instead of these can lights that go out all the time. Soccer practice field for the girls. We had a gender equity plan that we did to make sure our girls' athletic facilities were comparable to the boys. So you probably see our girls now have the covered batting cages in the softball complex, the press box. They actually we have our own soccer field at the high school now. I mean, it's 2021-22, and we finally have our own soccer field. Right, we were playing at Woodson. Well, they also need a practice field as well. And middle school athletics, today, I don't know of a single 5A or 6A school district where their middle schools do not have a competition field, but Temple, Texas. Lamar, when they play a competition game, 7th grade girls soccer, 8th grade boys soccer, football, 7th and 8th grade, you know where they're playing? Woodson. Travis, playing at Woodson. Bonham, we finally put lights on that field, and it's a quasi field, but there are no, stands or no restrooms, anything like that. Our students at the middle school level need to have their own competition fields. Now, this is an example of what I'm talking about. So, if you're familiar with this, over here is Travis Middle School. This is behind Travis. We do not own this property. It's a field right now with a worn down, at best, basketball court. The city owns that property. Our kids practice on there. If we pass this bond to do all this, it's $4.2 million. The city is going in half. You know why? Because this isn't just for Travis students. Because in Temple ISD, we allow the community to use our facilities. A lot of school districts do not. On a weekend, if you go by Wildcat Stadium, you know what you're going to see? People walking the track, people running the bleachers. We leave the gate wide open, right? Well, guess what? All of our middle school fields will be the same. In our little leagues, Ralph Wilson and little leagues, they'll play on that. Because Ralph Wilson's located right over there by Travis. This track is a walking track for the neighborhood, or anybody, right? This is what I'm talking about at Bonham and at Lamar as well. This is a summary. So we lead with growth. Right here, 12 classrooms across 3 campuses, and then the Fine Arts Academy Elementary School, $63 million of the bond. Security vestibules at the campuses, get rid of portables, fire suppression systems, 15. Campus improvements, these are the aging facilities piece and the food service maintenance piece and elementary playgrounds, 54. And then our programs, fine arts, CT, and athletics, $32 million. I told you it was $184.9 million in November. We dropped it over $20 million, like $20 million, 100,000. 164.8. We took 7 projects out. We reduced the scope by 11%. But here's what it does to the tax piece. Remember I said the tax impact used to be 12.5 cents in November. Even though we've lowered it by 16, we were still asking for 12.5. With all these businesses coming in, even since November, FedEx, Data Revel Greens, right? Meta just made a huge announcement. Temple Data Green, all these distributions and all the home growth, we can do all this for less than 3 cents. 2.8 cents. That is $1.48 a month on a $100,000 valuation, less than $20 a year. Less than $20 a year. In November, it was about $125 a year. It's completely changed now. We did everything the community asked for. Lower tax impact, lower dollar amount, no stadium proposition whatsoever. So let's talk money. And by the way, if you're 65 and older, it's zero. $0. It's not even 3 cents, $0 tax impact. And what I tell people that are over 65 is, I know you don't have kids in school, but somebody paid for your education. Someone paid for your education. Okay? And that's important to remember. So, let's talk money. These are tax rates. The red, that's what they call maintenance and operation, part of your tax rate in the school district. That's what pays the utility bills, pays for books, pays for technology, pays for gas in the school buses, pays for salaries. That comes out of this part. The blue is debt. Right now, so you would add 93 cents and basically 30 cents. You add those right now, like I said earlier, we're sitting at between $1.23 and $1.24. That's our current tax rate. If this bond passed, would be at $1.26, right? 3 cents. See that line? Even if the bond passes and nobody else does anything around us, Academy, Belton, or Salado, we are still lower. Would be at $1.26, Academy's at $1.36, Belton's at $1.35, and Salado's at $1.37. We would be 9 to 10 cents lower than anybody else around us, because we dropped the tax rate so much. So we're asking for very, very little here. And honestly, 3 cents with a 16-cent drop 3 years ago, that's still 13 cents to the good. It's still 13 to the good. And we are much lower because we do a great job managing taxpayer dollars. We're very sensitive to that in Temple. Second to last slide. As I said, next week. Early voting's next week. It's here and now. Okay? Temple Independent School District Administration Building, located right over there at the Santa Fe Plaza, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Friday, April 25th through the 29th, the following Monday and Tuesday, May 2nd and May 3rd. Then you have Election Day. Election Day is May 7th. And we have several sites. There are several all over the county. In Temple ISD, there are several sites. We're going to have a voting site again at the administration building. We're going to have one at Jefferson Elementary in the north side of town. We have one at Meredith Dunbar in the east side of town, the real east side of town, right? Not downtown, but the real east side of town. In Ray Allen, which is the south side of town, okay? 7 to 7. That is a Saturday, all right? This is the last slide. If you want to stay up with the information that we put out, you can take a picture of this. Actually, it's our QR code, or you can go to our website. We have a really good website that has all of our bond information. And if you have any questions, you can email bond2022@tisd.org, and we will absolutely answer your questions the best we can. So this concludes the presentation today. I want to encourage you to vote. It is important to exercise your duty. I thank all of you for your time, and I think at this time I will be introducing a dear friend of mine, Benny Walsh, and he has some comments that he would like to make.
All right. We would like to thank Dr. Ott. A very good presentation. We thank you so much. As I know, Dr. Ott has been very busy spreading the word about this bond, so we need to get out and support the bond. We really do. On this Saturday at Corinth Church, I believe it's 321 South 10th Street, 321 South 10th Street. We will have a program there, an event where you get free breakfast. So come out and join us. Dr. Ott will be presenting this same presentation, and this time you get to ask questions. If you have some questions that you want to ask, come out this Saturday at 9 a.m. at Corinth Missionary Baptist Church, where Pastor Barnes is the pastor. And look at this presentation, and I know you have questions, because Dr. Ott gave us a bunch of information that you want to ask questions, all right? On May the 7th, Dr. Ott mentioned Meredith Dunbar, that there will be a program there. This program is called Unity in Action Festival, Unity in Action Festival. We are going there besides to vote, but sing and rejoice. We're going to have a sports camp there, just a little bit of everything. We're going to have nurses there taking physicals and blood pressures. We're just going to have a great time celebrating this. And you can go right into the library there at Dunbar Meredith and cast your ballot. Go right there and cast your ballot. So there's no excuse, especially you people on the east side of town, there is no excuse for you not to come out. And our famous hometown boy, Joe Green, will be there. He will be in our presence. So come out and speak with Joe Green and get your opportunity to cast your vote. Have some food. There's going to be food vendors there. It's just going to be a lot going on. And that starts the sports camp starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then the program inside starts at 12 o'clock. But voting starts at 7 o'clock. And we'll be there all day until those voting polls close. So come out and support us. And this will be a great event. We are going to pass this bond. We are going to pass this bond. You know, when we people of color vote, things happen. Things happen. So we can make this happen. Well, I remember a time I didn't think I would see a black president. But because we got out and vote, we made it happen. We're going to get out and vote and make this bond happen. So we'll see you this Saturday at 9 o'clock at Corinth Missionary Baptist Church, 321 South 10th Street. And then on May the 7th, we'll see you at Dunbar Meredith. Thank you. Dr. Ott, you have some final words?
I just wanted to thank everyone for your time, and I agree with Benny. I encourage you to come, and I'm glad he brought up questions, because there's one question I told you I was going to answer, and I didn't answer it. So I'm going to answer it now, because it's the big one that I always get anywhere I go. The question that I'm always asked is, why do we not have two high schools? And I'm going to answer that. It's because we don't need two high schools. That's why. And here's how I can demonstrate that to you. We have 2,300 kids at Temple High School right now. 2,300. When Belton ISD had 2,300 kids in Belton High School, you know how many high schools they had? One. Belton got to 3,000 kids in their high school before they split off. Georgetown got to 3,000 kids in their high school before they got to Eastview in Georgetown High School. It would make no sense to go to a community and say, hey, I need $140 million to build a new high school and take 50% of the kids out of Temple High School and leave that 50% empty, that building, to build another one over here. That would also be 50% empty. You wait until your school needs that. We have 2,300 kids. We're about 600 away from even buying land for another high school. Now, you can absolutely bet when that time comes, we will. But right now, we are not there. We barely made 6A by 52 kids last realignment. What people forget, because they look at Belton and the city of Belton, and they say, well, the city of Belton's small. They have two high schools. The city of Temple's big, and they have one. Because the city boundaries are not the same as the school district. I told you there are 4 school districts in the city of Temple. There's only one school district in the city of Belton. Right? Belton has 13,000 kids in their school system. We have 8,500. We're nowhere close. Right? We're nowhere close. So the school district lines are much smaller, the TISD school district boundaries, than the city of Temple. If we were all of city of Temple, we would have had 2 high schools years ago. So the reason we don't have 2 high schools is because we don't have the numbers. We don't do things because somebody else does it. We do it when we're supposed to do it. Right? In Belton, they went to 2 high schools when their first one had 3,000 in it. And so did Georgetown. And when we get to that point, trust me, we will do the same thing. So I want to make sure you're real clear on that answer, because that always comes up. And it's a good question, because it's confusing, right? City of Temple's this big. City of Belton's this big. The city lines are different than the school district lines. And that was something that was decided many years ago. Many years ago. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions that you have. Please show up Saturday. It'll be a great event. I'm grateful to you as a community. I say this every time I present. We will do everything we can to make sure we don't let you down. That is important to our kids when they perform and they have the block T. That's important for our teachers. That's important for all of our staff. We serve you. At the end of the day, it's your children, it's your schools, and it's your money. And I've said that everywhere I've gone. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.